Hello and a warm welcome to the Celtic Forever podcast, where on today's show we're going to go into Celtic's winger injury crisis going into the Ross County game on Saturday. 4 wingers out for this one. We're going to go into Celtic's 15-point gap. Mind the gap, 15 points ahead of Rangers in the league title as well. We've got the Dundee United game to touch on too. We've got the prize competition, a whole load of other stuff. So listen in, folks, to today's podcast. Plenty to get through, folks. Okay, let's get started. Let's do this, folks. Okay, everybody, welcome back to the Celtic Forever podcast. Another great set of games and results for Celtic, wasn't it, John? Absolutely superb. Celtic 2, Dundee United 0. Comfortable enough win for the Hoops at Celtic Park on an ice-cold night, -7 there at Celtic Park the other night. And then you've got the Dundee game last night as well, John. So that was one each that finished, one each Rangers Dundee at Dens Park. So another 2 points dropped for Mr. Clement, John, but 15 points clear, John, just at the start of January. You couldn't ask for better, really, could you?
No, it's all good, all good. The meltdown's begun yet again after their glorious dead rubber fixture.
Yeah, that's it, John, dead rubber it was, especially now after the last two results. It was definitely dead rubber, John, but you know, for a Celtic team not to turn up at Ibrox, you know, that was the very good. So we've all had our say on that. We've all had our comments on that. We've moved on, 2 wins since, and Rangers with 2 draws, puts us 15 points clear. All right, John, just a wee quick one before we get into everything, because we've got a lot to get through. We've got the preview of the Ross County game coming up. We've got to touch on the Dundee United game as well. Just a wee quick one on Fat Boy's prize, John. He's not received his prize yet because he won the prize last week, correct score prize. It's been returned. He lives in Ireland and it's been returned to me due to custom issues, John. So get in touch with this Fat Boy. Let us know what he wants to do with your prize. If you know anybody in Scotland, we'll send it to them or whatever. Just get in touch with this Fat Boy. But your prize has been returned to me. And we need to sort that out for you, pal, because you won the prize fair and square. All right, John. The border behind Clement, 200%. So Clement is, I don't think it's a case of the board, you know, being behind him 200%. It's a case of they can't afford to pay this guy off. I think he would have been sacked well before now, John, otherwise. But the board are 200% behind Clement, who drew 1 each with Dundee, John. I don't know if you watched the game. I certainly did. An absolutely shocking decision to chop a perfectly good goal off that wasn't, in my opinion, offside, John. It looked level to me. The red line on that replay as well. I don't know if you saw that, but I've saw it. It's a way off, John. I mean, there's no way this boy was a foot offside. So a perfectly good goal chopped off for me. That should have been 3 points for Dundee. And John, the penalty that wasn't given to Dundee in the build up to the Rangers game as well. Another shocking decision. That game should have been halted and looked at for a penalty, but no, Rangers broke up the park and they managed to get a point out of this one.
Aye. I seen the offside thing, and you're right, the red line's miles in front of where the edge of the player's body is, basically. Mm-hmm. So I don't know why they've drawn a line that should never exist. But I seen the replay. He looked online, didn't he? He looked in line. Online. He looked onside. Yeah. When you see it from the side, it doesn't look offside at all to me. So I'd say that's a decent goal chopped off. The penalty, I guess it's a case of just barging a player off the ball. It's a penalty all day for me.
Yeah, it's a penalty all day. The Dundee manager's raging. Doherty's raging with that. And it's the Rangers defender, I think it's, who's the big guy? I can't remember his name. Anyway, the big Rangers defender, he doesn't know where the ball is, John. He's barging his body anywhere. Can't see the ball. Barges the player out the road when he's about to put it in the net, John. It's a stonewall penalty and they break up the park and get an equaliser out of it. So they get their point, John, but it's no good enough for them. That's them now 15 points behind us in the league. Absolutely brilliant, John, to be in this position. But we do have a very, very, very tricky tie coming up against Ross County on Saturday, John. We're going to touch on that first before we get into the Dundee United game, actually. In fact, let's do it now. Let's get into the preview of the big game, John, because we have injury concerns, don't we? We do have injury concerns. We don't have Dyson available for this one. He's out. He picked up a knock. Kuhn is still unavailable for this one as well. James Forrest was already out long term, and Lewis Palmer is also out of this one. He's had a bereavement in his family, John. So that's 4 wingers we've got missing from this one, coming up against an on-form Ross County.
Aye, that's no good, is it?
No.
That's Celtic's strong point. That's, the attacking line, the forward players are Celtic's strong point. And to have them injured at a very tough away ground up in Dingwall, that's bad for Celtic. But, these players that are fit to play, I mean, they're quality players. They should be up to the job, Xander. They're signed for Celtic. They must be good enough to play for Celtic. So they should be up for the job.
Yeah. It's a bit of a winger crisis, isn't it, John? Every winger out apart from Yang, really. That's what we're looking at here, isn't it? So I don't know who's going to be coming in to replace, the injured players, John. Yang will definitely be playing. I don't know who else we've got on the wing, to be honest with you. Somebody from the B team, possibly. I'm not too sure. But Palmer's out anyway. Kuhn's out, Maeda's out, and Forrest is they're all out. Not 100% at this stage, but yeah, about 95% out of this. John, that's the percentage I'm giving them. So yeah, they're definitely out. All right, John, let's move on then, because there's nothing we can do about that. We'll get to the predicted 1 to 11 very soon. Let's look at the form going into this one then, John. Ross County, they are on form. They've won 3 out of the last 5, and they've had a draw on that as well. So that's 1 loss and 5 for Ross County. But it's the last 4 games we're looking at, John. Unbeaten in the last 4. Draw against Hearts. Beating Dundee as well, not easy to do. Beating Aberdeen, very tough, and beating Kilmarnock also, John. So we're facing a team that are definitely on form as well.
They are on form, and it's at their ground, which doesn't matter if they're sitting bottom of the league or whatever. It's still a tough place to go. So it's going to be even harder facing Ross County when they're on form. Celtic, no in the greatest of form, to be honest with you. They're no in the greatest of form. I'm not saying they're bad. They could be a lot better, let's be honest. I'm not saying Celtic's bad by any standard, but it could be better, Xander.
Yeah. The Dundee United game we just more or less did what we had to do, enough to get it over the line, wasn't it? So that's what we seem to be doing just now, as if we're conserving energy or something. I'm not sure, but as long as we keep getting the 3 points over the line, that's all that matters. And it's no different against Ross County on Saturday afternoon, John, because that is going to be one of our toughest games of the season. It really is. We definitely need every single player to turn up in this one, especially with the conditions outside, John. Still freezing outside, ice cold, and it'll be even worse up at Dingwall, won't it? So yeah, it's going to. Nobody's saying it's going to be easier. Let's have a quick run through what I think the predicted 11 is going to be for Ross County before we get to our predicted 11. Amisa in goal, Wright, Lopata, Randall, Brown, Kenna, Josh Nisbet, Graves, Harmon, Shilvers, and White, John. That's my predicted 11 for them, with Harmon scoring the winner against Kilmarnock, John, just the other day there. So we need to keep an eye on all of the guys, all decent players. Nisbet, decent player. Brown's a very good player, like him, central defensive midfielder. Right at centre back. Yeah, John, they've just got plenty of decent players there. And as regards to injuries for them, John, they've got a full squad to pick from.
That's good for them, bad for us. But yeah, don't really care what their team is. We can only concentrate on Celtic, who Celtic put out on the park. But it is a concern with the wingers basically all missing. I mean, they're no 100% like he says, but there's a slim chance you might see one of the wingers showing up, possibly Dyson. I don't know, but if they are missing, who are we going to replace them with, like he says?
Yeah, that's it, John. Only Brendan knows that, John, because I think you'll need to either play somebody out of position, possibly. Maybe play Greg on the left, Greg Taylor, and put What's his name? the other wee left back, John, can't remember the wee guy's name. Alexis Valley, is it? Maybe put him at left back, John, and Greg Taylor on left wing duties just for the one game, possibly, John, possibly. But we'll get into that in a wee minute, John. Let's have a wee look at Celtic, John. They beat Ross County in the last 5-6 visits, John. So the form guide is good, looking good. You know, home or away, we always seem to get the result against Ross County, don't we? And we just hope that continues on Saturday.
Aye, it's still it's a tough place to go. It's no a gimme by any stretch going up to Dingwall and getting a result, but aye, good record against Ross County, but I don't know. It just concerns me when top players are missing out of Celtic, you know, and there's a few of them missing, so that does concern me. That.
Yeah, it's a big concern, isn't it, John? It is a worry. But we just need to play the fixture, you know, no matter who's available, John, we just need to play the fixture. All right, John, odds going into this one. We'll get to the competition in a wee minute, folks, for the Celtic Park metal wall plaque. That's what's up for grabs this week. Celtic's Park's the stadium, John. Metal wall plaque up for grabs. So we'll get to that in a wee minute. But the odds, 16-1 for a Ross County win, 8-1 the draw, and 1-6 a Celtic win, John. But I think these odds were before these injuries were announced earlier on today.
Definitely, aye. If it's 1-6 for Celtic to win, because that's big odds, especially going away up to Dingwall. It's very, very tough to get a result up there. So that is big odds, and like you says, considering top players are going to be missing, aye, big odds. Maybe worth a wee punt if you're a gambler.
Yeah, especially 8-1 the draw, John. That's a massive price, isn't it? 8-1. I don't know if the odds are going to change with the news of the wingers all being out for Celtic. Because as you say, John, that's where we get most of our joy in every game, isn't it? Is the wingers, left wing, right wing, you know, attacking down each side. And for all of our top players to be missing for this one, then I think the odds are going to change. Be quick word on the competition before we move into the predicted lineups. Correct goal scorer we're looking for. Correct scoreline. Sorry. So looking for the correct score, one guess each into the comments, folks, and any time goal scorer in the match. So any scorer in the match, whether it's Ross County or Celtic, doesn't matter. If you name the player that scores in this game, you're in with this shout. So correct score and any scorer as well. One guess each into the comments, folks. UK mainland only, folks, because we're getting a lot of problems with the postage issues sending over to Ireland. So maybe I'm doing it wrong, I don't know. But that's twice now prizes have come back to me due to issues over at the customs. Right, John, let's move on. Let's get into the good luck everybody with the competition, by the way. But let's move on and get into the predicted 1-11, John. It's going to be tough, really tough, because of the four wingers. I mean, when you ever heard of it, the likes of this, 4 wingers missing for the one game. By the way, all wingers are going to return for the Dundee game in midweek, apparently, apart from Forrest. All 3 will be okay for the game on Tuesday night against Dundee, but that doesn't help us just now, John. We need a 1-11 off you, buddy.
Very good. 1-11 when you've got half a team missing.
Yeah.
Well, still half a team, just exaggerating. But I think the usual defence, I think the strongest possible defence, it's going to be obviously Casper in goals, Carter Vickers, Trusty. I'm thinking Greg Taylor on the left, Alistair Johnston on the right, centre of the park. I think it's going to be, I think Brendan's starting to like the look at Engels, so I think he's going to start with McGregor and Hattati.
Mm-hmm.
Up front, this is where it gets tricky. Now, with Yang being the only fit winger, he's going to start 100%.
Yeah.
He could start with Kyogo on the left, or Yang on the left with Kyogo on the right, and Adam Eder up front. That's just a guess. I have no idea. But that's what I'm thinking. I think Kyogo might play a winger role. Of course, he could try, Bernardo in the wing or something like that.
Yeah.
Just to see how it goes, try maybe Bernardo and Yang or something like that. I really don't know, Xander. It's a tough one when the wingers are all out,
Yeah, that's
I'm going to say Kyogo anyway. I'm going to say Kyogo on one of the wings, Yang on another one. I don't know which side. Adam Eder through the middle.
Yeah, I think Yang actually plays better on the left, doesn't he? To be honest with you, and maybe Wiki will go over on the right, possibly, John. I don't know. It's tough, isn't it? I think I'll quickly run through mine. It's going to be the same defence as yours, John. I think it's going to be Taylor with Engels. Engels, Jesus. It's going to be Taylor, sorry. It's going to be Big Trusty with Carter Vickers and Alistair on the right. Then we've got Callum, obviously, in the holding role with Rio and Engels, John. Or the wings. Let's have a look at the wings then, John. I think he's going to maybe go with Alex Valley on the left and Yang on the right, John. I could be talking mince, but we have seen Alex Valley playing on the left before. Didn't do too well, mind you, but we have seen him playing left wing before, John, once or twice. So I think you'll try that at Dingwall, John. I think you'll try that up at Ross County with. I think he's going to go for 3 in a row with Big Adam Weeder up front, John. So I don't know. The last 2 Big Adams played, John, so I'm just going to stick with that just for the predicted 11. But it's a big decision for Brendan to make there, John, for the wingers all being injured.
It is, but that's what he's paid for, to make these decisions. It is a concern that Yang, he's the only starter that we know he's going to start. But like you says, he could play Alex Valley on the left wing with Greg Taylor at left back.
Yeah.
It very well could do that. I really don't know. It is a tough one. We'll see what Brendan does. Obviously, our predictions are just based on a guess, just utter nonsense. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. I prefer to, if he goes with what you said, John, playing Kyogo. You know, maybe it's slightly out in the left wing, John, coming inside sometimes to make it a front 2 with Big Adam Weeder. But no, we'll wait and see what happens. Only Brendan knows what he's going to do with these players.
I suppose it just depends on Kyogo's crossing ability. I don't think I've ever seen him playing out in the wing, so we don't know what he's like for getting by a player and whipping in a cross or anything like that. We'll wait and see, Sander. It's an interesting one, but worrying at the same time.
All right, John, and a wee prediction off you, buddy? Score prediction?
Because of that team, it's a tough one, isn't it? It's going to be tight up there. It's not going to be a walk in the park. It never is. I'm going to go for 2-0 again. 2-0 Celtic.
Right, 2-0. I'll say 2-1. Yeah, okay. 2-0, 2-1. Just take a wee note of that, John. Just now, 2-0. Well, by the way, John, you got your score right, the Aberdeen game last week. So you're 3-2 ahead in the score competition, and that brings us on nicely to the predictions for this weekend's fixtures, John. And it starts with Hibs Motherwell on Saturday. The home game for Hibs on Forum. Hibs, John, just taking the draw off of Rangers, didn't they, as well? But they're playing an in-Forum Motherwell. So what are you thinking, buddy? Hibs Motherwell?
Oh, I'm going to go for a Hibs win. I'm going to say 3-1 Hibs.
They won the high bees. I'm going to go the 1 each, John. 1 each draw. St Mirren Dundee United.
Another tough game. Very tough. I'm going to go for it's a tough one, Xander. 1 each.
Yeah, 1 each. That's tough, isn't it? I'm going to go for an away win here, John. 2-1 to Dundee United. Aberdeen against Hearts at Pittodrie on Sunday, John.
Oh, Hearts have just off the back of their first win in a wee while as well, aren't they? Aberdeen just totally capitulated, didn't they, Aberdeen? I'm going to go for a Hearts win there again. I'm going to say 2-1 Hearts.
Right, 2-1 Hearts there, John. Yeah, the Dons. Who knows what's happening there? It's hard to pick Aberdeen for a win, John, and I'm not going to go with Aberdeen either. I'll say 3-1 Hearts, John. 3-1 to Hearts away from home. And the gimme of the weekend, John. You're not get a bet on this, I wouldn't imagine, but Rangers against St Johnstone at Ibrox.
I think you're going to have a small crowd at Ibrox this weekend. I don't think they're going to turn up in their droves to watch the nonsense that they're putting out on the park.
Yeah.
I'm going to say 1-1.
Yeah, 1-1, John. All right, okay. Okay, I'll take that all day long. You know, big Clements, John, he can do what he wants, can't he? Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. He's safe in his job, 200% safe, as we said earlier, John. I'll say 2-0 to Rangers. 2-0 to Rangers. Yeah, he's safe, John, no matter what he does, isn't he? So, and I was listening to Radio Scotland, as I do. That's what I've been known to do. And every time I listen to it, I've got something to bring up. John, Billy Dodds on Radio Scotland. They were talking about this weekend's fixtures. Ross County against Celtic, and it was Billy Dodds. Ross County need to do this. Ross County need to do that. Then it was Rangers St Johnstone. You know what I'm going to say? Rangers need to do this. Rangers need to do that. They don't even try and hide it, John. You know, they're not interested in any other team that Rangers are playing. It's all about Rangers. And when Celtic are playing, it's all about the team that Celtic are actually up against. So that's been going on for years, hasn't it? Billy Dodds as well, John, going on about, you know, it wasn't even mentioning the league being finished, but we know the league's finished. But what he was mentioning was Rangers are still got the Scottish Cup to play for, and they're still in Europe. So obviously Billy Dodds just try to find the positives there for Rangers.
That's all you can do, innit? Try and find the positives. Do you know, it's actually embarrassing Celtic getting beat by that garbage, innit? The more I think about it, I'm just totally getting away from Billy Dodds for a second. It's an embarrassment getting beat by that garbage. And they actually think they've got better players and a better team because of that, because Celtic played at 5% of what they can play at. So that is an embarrassment. But Billy Dodds, that's you need to expect that listening to these people. They're going to just talk about the team Celtic's playing and what they've got to do to beat Celtic. It's all about what they've got to do to beat Celtic. And then, like he says, it's over to Rangers, what Rangers have got to do to beat the team that they're playing.
Yeah,
that's why I don't listen to BBC. I can't stand their biased views. I can't stand the fact that there's 95% Rangers fans doing their punditry on there. That's why I don't listen to it. And it's just basically it's Rangers radio. That's all it is. That's why I don't listen to it. Actually, the podcast Rangers Radio is better than that.
Yeah, more balanced, isn't it? Yeah, more balanced because Radio Scotland is not balanced, John. I mean, I listen to it so I can come on here and tell everybody how bad it is. And it's really bad. It's really bad. It really is. And who's the other one that was on with Billy Dodds? He wasn't much better, by the way. Rory Loy, is it? Rory Loy? Don't know, never heard of the guy. But, you know, it was all about Rangers, you know, and it's, as you say, John, it was quite embarrassing, the Glasgow derby. It was, when you look at it, you know, the only team that beat is Celtic in the last 5 or 6 games. You know, it's quite funny when you think about it. You know, they couldn't beat Motherwell, they couldn't beat St Mirren, they couldn't beat Dundee, they couldn't beat Hibs, John. And that's me just going as far back as I can remember. But they could beat Celtic 3-0 at Ibrox. You know, a team that's so far ahead in the league. It just doesn't add up, does it? It really doesn't. So, as you say, a team that turned up at Ibrox and played to 5% of our capacity, John. But that one's well away now, John. Well away. We're still winning games. They're still dropping points, and we're looking for that to hopefully, especially the Celtic part, John, to hopefully continue over the weekend, Saturday.
Aye. Well, I'm just looking at Rangers results. But they won against Tottenham, the Tea Ladies Tottenham team.
Yeah, the one one each, John. The 1-1 each.
That's what I meant to say. They drew, or like you says, they won 1 each.
Yeah.
That was the moral victory again, wasn't it? So they won that 1-1 each, and then they lost the League Cup final to Celtic. They won that 3 each.
Yeah, that's right, John. That's right.
And then it was Dundee, I think. And that was 1-0 to Rangers. Then St Mirren beat them. Then Motherwell drew with them. Then they beat Celtic. Then they drew with Hibs. Now they've drawn with Dundee. Look at the amount of points they've dropped. Talk about Aberdeen falling away. What's happening with them as well? Nobody's talking about that.
No, I don't want to talk about how bad a situation, because what they've done, John, right, but let's get into it. I'm in the mood for this now. So, what the Scottish press have basically done, and the English press for that matter, John, I heard it down south as well. I listened to 5 Live, bumming Rangers up to something chronic, so they were. But what the Scottish press have basically done here is built Rangers up to something that they're not. You know, that's fantastic. John, you said one earlier on against Tottenham. They went on about it so much. This one each draw at Ibrox, one each with a B team. Spurs, John, who rested most of their team for their English Premier League game that weekend. John, they built them up that much that they can't now say how poor they are. They've got to stick by what they've said about Rangers. You know, how they beat Celtic. You know, they got a decent draw against Tottenham. They're the team on form as well, John. We heard it all, John. We heard it all. And do you want to know something as well? They're still hearing that. You know, I was listening to that podcast on Radio Scotland, and I don't know how many times, John, they mentioned beating Celtic at Ibrox. So they're still going on about how Rangers are a team that can beat anybody on their day. They've had decent results, John, but they're not actually looking at what's actually happening. Loss after loss, draw after draw, 15 points behind Celtic, and it's only January. John, this is the point I've been making about the Scottish press for day one.
Aye, well, it's been happening for years, though. As far back as I can remember listening to Radio 1, Radio Scotland, I mean. They've been going on about that since day one. Going on about Rangers this, Rangers that. It's always been the same in this country. And there is some support from down south as well for Celtic. I've got to admit, I have listened to a couple of wee things on YouTube, you know, a couple of the English guys. They've been basically praising Celtic. But you can't say because you drew with Tottenham Hotspur, Tottenham Hotspur B team, and you beat Celtic 3-0 when they were playing at 5% of their capabilities, that they're some team. If that's what your season's based on, forget it. Just finish up as a club. Because you've got to win a lot more than beating Celtic once every 3 years and beating a Tottenham Hotspur B team. You've got to do a lot better than that to be classed as a half-decent team. They're absolutely ranked rotten.
Yeah, and every time they play in Europe as well, John, they come up against these B teams. Look at Nice, who didn't even have a B team, John, who had to play their C team. We boys at 15 running about playing against men, you know, so yeah, but that never ever gets mentioned, John. We can mention it on here, obviously, because it's the truth, but you know, it never gets mentioned in the press. And of course, there's tens of thousands of Celtic supporters down in England. I'm talking about the press, John, the actual, you know, Radio 5 Live. It's pathetic. It really is. You know, that 3-0 win for Rangers at Ibrox was constantly mentioned on 5 Live. I've never heard the Glasgow Derby getting mentioned on 5 Live up until Rangers beat us recently. So yeah, that's what we're up against, John. So I'm just so glad that we're so far ahead in the league, John, and I cannot wait till we get them at Celtic Park, to be honest with you.
One every Celtic fan's looking forward to. We can only hope Celtic's picked up the form by that time. Celtic will be hungry to put that result right anyway, I know that. That, I think, hurt the Celtic players and the fans and all that, getting beat by utter garbage, to be honest with you. Rangers, they're just utter garbage. Crap players, crap team, crap fans. And what's carried them over to get that result, I do not know. But the only thing I can put it down to is Celtic really, really poor on the day. That's my take on it. I don't care what anybody says. That's my take on it. Celtic were pathetic on that day. Not one player showed up apart from Carter Vickers, really. And they get turned over by a bunch of amateurs, and it's embarrassing.
Yeah, when you look back on it, considering the results that have happened since, you know, it's it was concerning, John, but it has passed now. But we've got to bear in mind as well, John, it was 2 home games we've had since that. You know, we're up to Dingwall on Saturday afternoon, John. So that's going to be a big test for us, and I'm sure we'll come through it. I'm sure we will. Both of us have predicted a win for Celtic, but it is going to be tough, especially with the injuries as well. So we'll wait and see what happens when we go up to Dingwall, John. All right, John, that's it. That wraps up the preview, the big one on Saturday. We've touched on the reason why we're 15 points clear as well. Rangers drawn with Dundee and Rangers drawn with Hibs as well. We've touched on all that. Let's get into a wee quick word. Just a quick word on this one, John. The Dundee United game in midweek. Very cold, ice cold night, John. It was, I don't know, John. It was, as I said at the start there, John, it was enough to get the 3 points over the line, wasn't it? It was just about enough, John. It was a goal from Dyson in the 23rd minute, and then we scored our second. Nice finish from Rio, by the way, in the 83rd minute to seal the points, John. Dundee United came at us 1-0, didn't they, when it was maybe about half an hour ago, trying to get an equaliser. Left a wee bit of space, and Rio with a beautiful finish to make it 2-0. I don't think this one was ever really in any doubt, was it? Celtic's possession, through the roof, 80-odd% possession. And we did enough. We got the 3 points. That's all we can really say.
No, that's it. The first half was totally dominant. Second half, I don't know if it was Celtic that were tired or I don't know. Played a lot of games, but Dundee United started coming back into it. There was gaps all over the park, and Dundee United exploited them really well, I think. But I don't know if it was Celtic that was tired or Dundee United just came out a far better team. I really don't know. But what did you think of that Dundee United strip? That was rank rotten.
I know. I don't know why he just didn't play their tangerine ones, John, to be honest with you. That was strange, wasn't it? Because every time Dundee United come to Celtic Park, they wear their usual home strip. So I don't know. Maybe they were just trying to showcase it. But it was right poor, wasn't it? So, but they could have came out of there with something, John, but they did enough to get the 3 points, and that's all that mattered. So well done to every supporter that went along there on Tuesday night, John, because Wednesday night, sorry, because it was Baltic outside -4, I think it was, on Wednesday night, John. So yeah, well done.
It was a -4, -5. It was -15 at Ibrox.
-15. It was actually -16 at one point, wasn't it? You know, we're lucky to get that draw, John. You've got to be honest. Rangers were actually lucky. Same as the Hibs game. We're lucky to get a point out of both of their games. They should have actually lost both their games, but the VAR put them out of hole. So John, they've got 2 points more than what they should have, if you're going to be perfectly honest. But it doesn't matter, John. It doesn't matter about them now, John. It's all in our hands, isn't it? It's all about Celtic, what we do. And it's another chance on Saturday, John, to actually go 18 points clear with a win, with them no playing to the Sunday.
Aye, well, this is it. If we do beat Ross County, I fancy Rangers to just collapse. I think they'll drop up. I think they're going to drop points this weekend. I certainly hope they do anyway. But yeah. Aye, I think they might collapse. Not that they haven't already collapsed. I think they have collapsed already. But aye, I think you're going to see an empty Ibrox, especially if Celtic win against Ross County. But anyway, back to the Dundee United games, and a couple of nice goals in there as well. Nicolas Kuhn obviously pulling up before the kickoff, which is the big concern, you know.
Yeah. But Brendan's came out and said he'll be fine for Tuesday, as will Dyson and Palmer. All three will be back for Tuesday night up at Dens Park, John. So that's good news, I suppose. It's just this one we need to try and get over the line, isn't it? Because we don't want to be giving any team any false hope, thinking there's still a chance. We want to keep that 15-point gap. And I know we're being greedy here, John. 15 points is a lot, but John, we just don't want to. Look what happened after the game at Ibrox, John. You would have thought that Rangers actually won the league, with that 3-0 win against Celtic. But, keep it to the 15 points. We've got that 15-point gap. There's no games in hand for Rangers or anything like that, John. So we've got to bear that in mind as well. So just do a professional job. Yeah, as I say, John, it was like they'd won the league after the Ibrox, the fireworks going off to midnight, all that kind of stuff. And I noticed there was no saluting at the game. Dundee, for a lot of good comments about that, actually, the Rangers fans saluting the Rangers player because they drew 3-each at Hibs. Unbelievable. But there was no saluting against Dundee, John. They were quite sick with that, weren't they? I think the Rangers fans, I think they've had enough.
Aye, definitely. I don't know if there was any fans saluting in the crowd, but you seen them at the end of the game. They were all they were raging, you know. But
Yeah.
is this the same fans that were saying we're some team, we're better than Celtic and all that stuff? These same fans on these radio shows phoning in, we're better than Celtic, we're this, we're that. And then at the end of that game, they want their manager sacked. Their players are rotten, they want rid of their manager. So they're a wee bit confused, aren't they?
Yeah, that's it, John. It's I don't understand sorry what's going on over there, but you know, Celtic are doing their bit, and that's all we can ask. I know we're not playing great either just now. Got to bear in mind, John, the conditions and all the rest of it. You know, freezing cold temperatures. We're still getting these wins over the line. Ibrox, let's be honest, Ibrox has been the only blip, and domestically, John, that's been the only blip. Even in Europe, we're doing well. Dortmund being the only blip there, John. But one game in it's over half a season now. We're into the second half of the season now. We're taking these games off, and one defeat, John. So it's absolutely tremendous what Celtic have done. And they're dropping points right, left, and centre, but the press are backing them, John. So let them back them for as long as they want, John. As long as we win that league title, because that's all I'm concerned about, is winning that league title and getting another league trophy in the bag, John, for our 55th league title. That's what we're all looking for.
Aye. The way the press are backing them it's unbelievable, isn't it? It's like a 2-horse race, but one of the horses is 10 furlongs behind. But they're still congratulating the horse that was 10 furlongs behind, isn't it? It's ridiculous, Sander. It's just laughable, isn't it?
Yeah, you're right, John. 15 furlongs behind, John. They're congratulating the team that's 15 furlongs behind and fell at the first fence.
This is that. I noticed the furlongs have increased.
But that is true, John. We're having a laugh and a joke. Yeah, fair enough. We're allowed to have a laugh and a joke. We're well clear in the league. But it's true, John. What we're saying is true. They're congratulating a team that are miles behind Celtic. It really is a nonsense, isn't it? All right, John, that wraps up the wee Dundee United chat. We got the 3 points. That's all that really matters, isn't it? The fans go home happy. The fans go home happy and cold, sorry. But with 3 points in their back pocket, John. And that's all we were looking for, isn't it?
Well, that's that, isn't it? 3 points in the bag. And the next night, Rangers had all that time to prepare and done nothing about it, basically. So it was just a great night. But no, it wasn't finished because you never mentioned that I got the scoreline right in that game as well.
Oh, did you, John? What was the final score in the Rangers game? 1-each?
No, the Rangers game, the Celtic game.
Oh, Dundee United 2-0, right? All right, did you, John? That's you 4-2 ahead then.
I'm not really counting all the other games, Sander, Aberdeen and all that nonsense. We'll just
No. I like to count names, John. That's good. It's good fun, that. I like that. So, yeah, 4-2 then, John. Just take a wee note of that. We'll be back catching up today. Right, 4-2. All right, John. Yeah, it was 3 points, John. It wasn't the best game. And I was just saying, dominant first half. Second half, Dundee United came into it. But, you know, a wee word on Dundee, actually, John. Just a wee quick word before we got to do a couple of comments. How good were Dundee, by the way, with a team there, John, had 10 players out injured, and they looked decent, didn't they? They should have actually won that game, Dundee, John. I know you didn't watch the full game, you maybe only saw the highlights, but from what I've saw, and it wasn't the whole game either, but from what I've saw, they played brilliant, John. Fair play to Big Docherty. He's got his team playing well.
Aye, they're always a tough team, Dundee. Always a tough team, especially up at what's the name of Dundee Stadium again? Can't remember. Dens Park, aye. Up at Dens Park, it's always a tough game for any team to go up there. And the Dundee fans singing the zombie songs to the Rangers fans and stuff, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah.
Dundee fans were on form, but it's a great result for Dundee. I was absolutely delighted with that. I never watched any of it. I just seen the highlights. I seen all the main highlights of it. I think I watched an extended highlights clip. But I know I just got a text message from my old man, tell me -15, that's what it says, -15. Now, it was freezing outside. I didn't know if he was talking about the weather, to be honest with you. It didn't click until I just remembered that Rangers were playing and we were 13 points ahead, or whatever it was, and it just clicked. So he's talking about Rangers, and I go right onto Google, check the score. Sure enough, one each. Results under. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And bearing in mind, we're up to Dens on Tuesday night as well, so it's going to be just as tough for us as well, isn't it, John? So, yeah, a couple of tough away games for us, John. Very tough. Ross County, Dingwall, and Dens Park, Dundee, within a few days of each other. That's got to look at that away as well, John. I think it's Saturday to Tuesday, isn't it? So, yeah, both times we play ahead of Rangers, so both times it's a chance to win the game and put a wee bit of even more pressure on them, if you like. All right, John, we'll wrap that up. Let's leave it there because time's getting on. If you want to run through a few wee comments, buddy, before we go.
Aye, we played Dundee twice in January, actually. We played them on the 25th, and we play them, obviously, next Tuesday as well. So that's 2 games against Dundee in January. That's kind of unheard of, isn't it?
Yeah, that's both league games, I presume, yeah, because the Scottish Cup will come out, can't we? Yeah, okay. So it must be Celtic Park, the end of January.
Aye, Celtic Park, 25th of January, Robbie Burns Day. And before we move on to the comments, what did you think of Glenn Middleton? Do you think he looks like he should be more a sumo wrestler than a football player?
That the wee fat midfielder guy, isn't it? Aye, well, yeah, he's at Dundee United for a reason, I suppose. But he gets a game for them, doesn't he? He plays every game. So he must be doing something right, John. So, yeah, we sumo wrestler. We sumo
ex-Rangers player. Yeah. The ex-Rangers player, I know, he was running right, I know, that big belly was bouncing all over the place in the second half.
You've got to bear in mind, it's just after Christmas and New Year. All our bellies are bouncing a bit.
Aye. That was ridiculous. That, running a bit like that. It's supposed to be a professional football player.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I think he's always been fat anyway. Not forgetting against the boy because he's fat, but I just thought I'd mention it. He's carrying a wee bit of excess, I think.
Yeah, as am I. But I'm no 28 kidding on. I'm a professional football player, John, so I can carry a bit of excess weight. As you say, these guys should look after themselves a wee bit more, shouldn't they?
Right.
Okay, John. Right. Comments, we'll do a few. Just a wee 5-10 minutes worth of comments, if you don't mind, John.
Right. Void Picks says, keep it up. Thanks very much for that, Void Picks.
Yeah, keep it up. What's you talking about? Don't know, John, but yeah, thanks for the comment. Anyway, we'll try and keep it up.
I don't know. It reminds me of the Thin Blue Line, if you remember that.
What was that?
Keep it up. The guy, the CID guy.
Oh, Inspector Grimm.
Inspector Grimm. He was brilliant, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's funny guy. But for the comment, we'll keep it up. Definitely. You need to tell us what it is you want us to keep up. That's all I'll say.
Aye. Don't know what he wants us to keep up, but we'll keep it up anyway. Thanks for that, Void Picks.
Good comment. Thanks for the comment, Paul.
Aye. Martin Nichol, Hector's brother. He says, love it for IBT. IBT? What's IBT?
Not sure, John. So if they keep it up and somebody loves it, so
Martin.
It's just Nichol, isn't it, John? No, McNichol.
Aye, Martin Nichol, aye. He just says, love it for IBT. I don't know what IBT means.
Let us know, Martin, what IBT is, but
got to remember, Martin, we're not exactly teenagers, so you need to explain the young part to us. IBT. I don't speak that language. I don't know what it means. Sorry, mate.
Yeah. I'm sure all it is, no, John. He's always on the comments, the boy, isn't he?
Aye. Let us know, Martin. Thanks for your comment.
Yep. Cheers, Martin.
IBT. I'm trying to work out what IBT would actually mean. I'll see if I can get it by the end of the comments. We would never sell a club says, great to bounce back from the disappointment of losing to Sefco in the Glasgow Derby and then seeing them draw to Hibs makes it all the sweeter, and we need to power on now with another victory over Dundee United tomorrow night, and victory over Dundee United we did.
Victor over Dundee United it was. It was a disappointment, John. It really was. But it was made 10 times worse with the way the press went on about the Ibrox game. You know, that was the way they went on about that was actually disgusting, let's be honest. You know, a team that was, we were 14 points ahead at the time, John, I think we were. And I think, you know, the reaction, okay, they won the game, right, John? I mean, we beat Rangers 5-0, 6-0, you know, over the last few years. But no reaction like that to any of these games. But the overreaction, and throughout the Scottish press, John, the newspapers, I don't know that I buy them, but I just saw the headlines online. The TV shows, the BBC, STV, Sky Sports, all the usual ones, John. It was just ridiculous. It was 3 points at the end of the day.
3 points, that's all it was. Playing against a Celtic team that just weren't interested. Simple as that. When was the last time you bought a newspaper?
You know, John, that's a brilliant question. And let us know in the comments, people that are viewing this, let us know when the last time you bought a newspaper, because I'd say the last time I bought a newspaper was around 2003, something like that.
Right, that's a long time ago. That's 20 odd years ago. The last time I bought a paper was probably about 10 years ago.
All right. No. Used to buy a newspaper quite a lot, actually, John, but it just went right off it. Just, you know, the headlines were bad even away back then, John, about 20 years ago. So just lost interest in newspapers. And some of the headlines regarding Celtic were quite bad, and that was another part of the reason. So, yeah, just went up, fell away for them years ago, John.
I think most people's like that. I don't know anybody that buys newspapers. They're a waste of money.
I think the Rangers supporters still buy newspapers, didn't they?
That's because they all support their team.
Yeah.
The Daily Rangers, the Daily Record, that's their paper, isn't it? Daily Rangers.
Yeah.
The Sun, that's all about Rangers. So that's why they still buy them.
Yeah, they're getting all the publicity, John. Celtic don't. Celtic get poor publicity on the press, so that's why I'd say, obviously I don't know, but I'd say about 80% of the Celtic fans don't buy these, you know, the Sun, the Records, you know. But let us know in the comments if you do still buy the newspapers.
I think people stopped buying the newspapers when digital TV came out and you started getting the menu. Because I remember used to buy the newspaper just for the TV guide in the middle. You remember that?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The telly bit. Wasn't it the telly bit?
The telly bit, that's what you bought the paper for. But
yeah.
And now that you've got digital TV, you can just see on the menu what's coming on the telly. You don't need a newspaper for that. Not that I've only been watching a digital TV for 10 years, but I used to buy the paper for like a crossword or something like that, Xander, you know?
Aye. I mean, the obviously your Twitter and your Facebook and everything else, John, you don't need to buy a newspaper now. You get everything online, but there is still a handful of people that buy newspapers, isn't there, out there?
Aye. People that refuse to buy toilet roll.
Aye, well, sometimes that's the best use for a newspaper, John, isn't it?
Nah, it's too slidey.
Dear, oh dear.
Right, anyway.
Moving on.
Kevin McKenna says, we were a bit flat for the first 25 minutes, but after that, we started to play and won the game comfortably. That's talking about the Dundee United game.
Right. In regards to the Dundee United game, I never spoke much about it because I missed most of it, John. I was up north, so I missed quite a lot of the game. But I did catch up with what went on, so I've seen bits and bobs. But as I said, it's 3 points. Slow in the first 20 minutes. That sometimes happens with Celtic, doesn't it? But, you know, at Celtic Park, John, we've got that big crowd behind us. We've got a chance to win the game. But for what I did hear and what I did see, it just seemed a bit lethargic to me, John. Maybe I'm wrong, but I obviously didn't see it. It just seemed a little lethargic to me.
First half, Celtic were brilliant. Passing the ball about fast. Trying to break Dundee United down as usual. Trying to break the tangerine bus. Well, the purple bus. And the second half, Dundee United had a wee go. I think Celtic looked a bit maybe tired in the second half, but first half they were brilliant. Second half, no quite as good, but Look, results done. It's over the line. That's all that matters.
That's it, John. And you've got to bear in mind that Dundee United are on form. They're a decent team, the same as what we're up against on Saturday. Ross County, decent team. They're on form. And even when Ross County aren't on form, John, it's still tricky going up to Dingwall, even if they're not on form. So we're playing an on form Ross County team on Saturday that at home, you know, John, and we've got all those injuries. So it definitely makes up for a tricky game for us. But hopefully it's the opposite, John. We just come out, do a professional job and get the 3 points. That's what we're all hoping for, isn't it?
Well, we'll find out tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock it is, isn't it? 12:30? I don't know exactly, but...
I think it's 12:30, John. I think you're right.
All right. Anyway, thanks for that, Kevin McKenna.
Cheers, Kevin. Cheers, pal.
Paul McComb thought 5-0. Nah, I knew it wasn't go. Both of us says before the podcast it's going to be a close game. We knew that. Dundee United third in the table. There was no way that was going to be a 5-0. We predicted that. You predicted 2-1. I predicted 2-0. And both of us says it's not going to be a walk in the park, and it wasn't.
No. It was. They're a decent team, John. So we knew it was going to be close. It was close. We also think that Ross County is going to be close, John, didn't we? So, you know, it's a worry that for me. These wingers being out injured, it really is. I know we're jumping for pillar to post here, John, but I just think it's going to be very, very tough at Dingwall on Saturday.
It is a wee tight park as well. It's a worry for you because you've picked 2-1, I've picked 2-0, and I'm 4-2 in front. I think it's going to be 2-0 again. You predicted 2-1 against Dundee United again, so we've predicted exactly the same scorelines as we did in the Dundee United game. Yeah,
it's just get the 3 points, John, into it. I mean, you know, to go 18 points clear, John, on what is it tomorrow, the 10th, the 11th, something like that, January.
That's 11th, aye.
Yeah, 11th, the start of the year, John. You know, that would be an amazing achievement for Brendan and the boys, wouldn't it?
Absolutely brilliant, Sander, aye. And no winter break this year. I think it's maybe taking its toll on the players a wee bit, you know, with the amount of games that we're having to play. So maybe I've definitely missed that this season.
Yeah, the boys are not getting a break, are they? But what Brendan will maybe look at is the gap, the 15-point gap. Hopefully 18 by Saturday night, John. He may start resting a few players, you know, giving them a wee break here and there because there's no winter break. We can afford to do that. We do have decent players that can step in as well. So we may look at that, John, but yeah, then again, maybe no.
Maybe no. Just need to wait and see, Xander. It's the 10th of day, by the way. I don't know if I says that it was the 11th that the game was on, but it's the 10th of day.
Yeah.
Honestly, Matt, see, after New Year, my head's all over the place trying to remember what day it is, never mind what date it is.
Yeah, that's it. Everything's still upside down into it. I've noticed that it's taken a wee bit longer this year for things to get back to normal, isn't it? So, and all these games as well, John, as you say, we're talking about 3 games a week, don't we? You know, Saturday, Wednesday, Saturday. You know, it's a lot of football packed in just now, and you can understand why players are picking up injuries and maybe looking a wee bit tired just now.
Well, it's the same for every team, Xander. Well, Ross County never played a game this midweek, so they'll be a bit fresher than Celtic.
Yeah, as you say, it's the same for every team, John, but, you know, we can only concentrate on Celtic now, and we're picking up a few injuries, John, but it's still all good. We can't complain, can we?
No, I'm not complaining. As long as Celtic keeps sticking the ball in the net more than the opposition, I'll never complain, Xander. Anyway.
That's it.
James says, I was always critical of Beaton, but I think he's one of the best referees in the SPL, and I would take Martin Boyle in a heartbeat to Celtic, who was brilliant for Hibs against Sefco yesterday. We says that, James, that Martin Boyle, I would welcome Martin Boyle to Celtic. Very direct, very fast. He doesn't mess about when he gets the ball. He's straight at the defender, trying to get by him. None of this cutting back left feet, cutting back right feet. He's not like that. He's just direct. He just runs at defenders and whips in across, or takes it right into the box and bangs a shot in. So I would welcome him. And John Beaton, he seems to be right now at this moment doing a great job.
Yeah, he done his job, John. You're right. You're talking about his job. He done his job against Rangers. That's, you know, some of these decisions, the penalty, for example, for Hibs. You know, in the past, Hibs wouldn't have got that penalty, John. So Beaton done his job, and he done a good job giving him that, because he is a Rangers supporter. Let's be honest. He could easily have not given that penalty, but he gave it, so fair play to him. As regards to Martin Boyle, well, look at the situation we're in just now, John. No wingers apart from Yang for the Ross County game. You know, we don't know if he's going to go into the B team, maybe put one or two wingers on the bench. We don't know what he's going to do, but you know, how good would it have been to have Martin Boyle over the line just now, John?
Aye, get him signed tonight.
That's like a game of FIFA, isn't it? Sign him tonight to play tomorrow. No, John, it's true, and he's a decent player, Martin. He always has been a decent player. He's just he's direct, John. He would be, if Celtic were to sign him, it would be as cover, you know, because of the wingers we've got there just now. But he is a very, very good player, Martin Boyle, and he's been linked with Celtic in the past as well, hasn't he?
Aye, he has. He's Australian, I think, isn't he, Martin Boyle?
Yeah, I think he is, John. Yeah.
He's just, I know as a winger, I've had my eye on him for quite a while. I've always says he's a decent winger.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that he's direct and very seldom loses the ball. And I think he would thrive in a Celtic team, Xander. Surrounded by quality players like we've got at Celtic, he would thrive in that team.
Yeah. Yeah, it's, you know, we don't know if Brendan's maybe looking at him as backup or not, John, but we'll wait to see what January brings. Obviously, we're now into the 10th of January. We've not had anybody over the line yet. The Kieran Tierney rumours sort of fading away into it, you know, the big fallout with Celtic fans signed Kieran Tierney's name and Brendan Rodgers. You know, we actually can be doing without it, let's be honest. We don't need any animosity between fans and management, John. We just don't need it. And then you've got the other side of things, John. There's not really many, if any, John, links to players coming to Celtic in January so far.
No, nothing so far. I mean, the Kieran Tierney thing, that can go away as soon as it arrived. I mean, I'm not interested in Kieran Tierney because of reasons that I've already discussed 100 times on here. No, because I don't like Kieran. Just don't want him there because he's just a magnet for injuries. I just don't want that type of player at Celtic. I don't want anybody sitting in the stand collecting 25 grand a week like James McCarthy, watching his favourite team playing, eating a pie, having a bovril and getting paid 25 grand a week for it. I do not want that at Celtic. I'd rather Celtic spent the money on somebody that was, good for at least half of the season, and Kieran Tierney ain't going to be that, so I don't want him there.
Yeah, John, and we both agree that if it was a Kieran Tierney would welcome it with open arms. So Celtic would need some sort of guarantee, but that seems to have faded into the background already, that one, John. So, but no links at all, John. I've no one or two people guessing at stuff like us guessing with Martin Boyle. It's probably never going to happen, John. You get a lot of that. We're not even going to mention that. We want some concrete, links to players coming to Celtic, don't we?
Aye, well, this is it. And there's nothing so far, so there's nothing we can say, really. We just can run in circles talking about what we would like. I would like the boy, like I says, what was his name? Gabriel. I'd love him to be signed for Celtic instead of Kieran Tierney. I would love him to come to Celtic. That's not going to happen. It's just what I would love. And I would also love Kieran Tierney to be fit if we were getting him. But if he was fit, you certainly wouldn't be getting him back at Celtic because he would be going for millions.
No, that's it, John. Kieran Tierney, if he was injury free playing season after season, he'd be selling for 50, 60 million down south, So yeah, you've got to bear that in mind as well, I suppose. Good point.
Exactly, aye. If he was coming to Celtic, you're not going to get a player that's worth 50, 60 million pound coming to Celtic. And that just tells you something. He's not worth 50, 60 million pound. Yeah. He's basically worth what anybody's willing to pay for him because he's injury history, Kieran. And sadly, that's just the way it is with Kieran. Great wee player, like Kieran, nice wee guy and all that. Just no for me for Celtic. And the Celtic fans also singing Martin O'Neill's name the other night to Brendan Rodgers doesn't help matters either, by the way. I know it was a wee bit of tongue-in-cheek, but when Brendan Rodgers is a wee bit kind of sticking up for the players and the fans don't listen to him and they respond by singing Martin O'Neill. I know it's tongue-in-cheek. It's quite funny in a way as well, but we just don't need it at Celtic.
Yeah, well, I think Brendan going on about the Kieran Tierney thing, the fans singing his name. the way I look at that, John, is fans can sing what they want, really. I mean, does it really matter? Because the players coming into the building is down to the manager. It's up to him who he signs, and the fans can sing what they want, But as regards to, Greg, John, he's still not signed that extension to his contract, and I think the Dynamo Zagreb thing is gathering pace as well, John. So it actually looks as though that Greg could be on his way out, and maybe that's why the Celtic fans were singing Kieran Tierney's name, possibly.
No idea, but I hope he does sign the contract. I would like Greg to stay. I like him. He's a good face around Celtic. He's well loved. Like you say, the Celtic fans can sing what they want. Pay their money to get in and watch the game. They can sing what they want. But Brendan, I like Brendan. He's a top quality manager, and I don't think singing Martin O'Neill helps things at Celtic. Even though it's just a wee bit of tongue in cheek, probably, but it doesn't help with the atmosphere surrounding the club.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to see here, John. I think it's, as you say, a wee bit of tongue in cheek, a wee bit of banter between the manager and the fans. Nothing wrong with that.
No, I'm just saying, it's just, me personally, I don't like to hear that stuff. I like the fans singing and all that, but you don't need to sing stuff like that to get to somebody,
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. Other people think differently. You think differently. I think differently. We've all got different opinions, and
yeah, that's it. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, John. That's not a problem. All right, anybody else in the comments, John?
Right, I'll fly through the last few, Xander, quickly. Kegler, I can never say this guy's name. I've said a big, long foreign name. No problem.
Kegler Moon, is it, John?
Kegler Moon, aye. I don't know why I always struggle to say that, but there you go, Kegler Moon. Struggling again. just go on with it. When I went the reverse match at Celtic Park earlier in the season, and it felt like going to a St Mirren game, and it played out that way. I think he's talking about I don't know what he's talking about. Rangers game, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, 3-0 at Celtic Park, and it was a canter, wasn't it? That's gone away back into John when you think of it. That seemed a long time ago, that game. It was a brilliant game that, just wiped the floor with them early in the season. And then we don't turn up at Ibrox, it just doesn't add up to me.
You wipe the floor when it matters, Sander.
Yeah, it mattered at Ibrox, John, but I don't know if there was a wee bit of, mind games there with Brendan, possibly. I don't know, John. It just seems strange that every single player, apart from Cameron Carter-Vickers, didn't turn up, John, in this one. It just seemed a bit strange to me, including the substitutes.
It was a very strange game. I've never seen Celtic play that bad. They made Rangers look really good when they're pathetic. Everybody's taking points after them except Celtic at that point. Mm-hmm. Very strange game. Just very, very odd. It's something I just did not expect. But there you go. It happened, and we've got to just go on with it. Look, I couldn't care less now. The game's over. That's it. It happened. Couldn't care less now. We're further ahead in the league. Happy days.
Further ahead, John, and with a win in just a few hours, John, and a win against Ross County puts us a massive 18 points clear. Even though they play Ibrox against St Johnstone, that would be a pressure game for them. To be honest with you, St Johnstone and Ibrox being 18 points behind, but we've already went through that, John, haven't we?
Aye, it's big pressure. We spoke about that earlier, so that's why I picked one each for that game, because I think Celtic will win at Ross County. I certainly hope they do anyway.
Yeah.
And if Celtic do win at Ross County, I think they'll look at that as forget it, man.
Right, okay.
You know what I mean? Last Patrick Macaulay says under the rocks mollusks of Ibrox.
Yeah, they were out their rocks, John, and out their boxes, weren't they, for a few days there. In fact, it was just for a few days, because they played Celtic Ibrox, and then a few days later they drew with Hibs, so it was just for a few hours, wasn't it? But, that few hours, you heard them, John. We did hear them. The social media posts, the press posts, the
Guy Fawkes night.
Guy Fawkes night as well, John. Yeah, it was worse than the 5th of November. It was Glasgow. The skies were lit up for a 3-0 dead rubber win, John. So yeah, good comment there.
Aye, I never see them. I know we're just joking. I never see their games against them as dead rubbers. I see them as this game is the most important game in the season. Every time we play them. But I think I'm well over it now. I mean, Hibs, Dundee, can we say thank you very much because we're now further ahead in the league than what we expected. So, it's all good.
Yeah, John, I said to you, if you remember the COVID season, I think Rangers were like 15 points ahead of us. And every single time they played a game, their fans were setting off fireworks. Do you remember that? I think I said to you last week. And that was every weekend up until they got the trophy. So that was like maybe 3 or 4 months of them setting fireworks off every single weekend. Celtic fans leave their celebrations obviously until we win trophies, just wait till that day and then set off a few. But their Rangers dropped points against Hibs and then dropped points against Dundee, John, and no pets, getting abused with the sound of fireworks going off, John. We're just a different breed for them, aren't we?
Aye, well, this is it. I just don't understand that mentality, just letting fireworks off every time that you win a game. It just doesn't make sense to me. That, I mean, not once in my life have I felt like going out and setting fireworks off after beating Rangers. I just enjoy myself, but when I used to have a wee drink, I'd have a wee drink after it and just maybe watch the highlights and that, just enjoy it. I've never once thought, you know what, I'm going to buy a massive box of Super Rockets and go out and annoy people with it. I just don't think that way. But I just don't see that what the mentality is in that.
No. Well, yeah. Well, maybe you didn't see it because you're miles away, John. But in Glasgow on that night, they beat us 3-0 at Ibrox, John. That was, as you say, the 5th of November returned. It was quite loud and noisy right up until about 11:30 at night. But anyway, John, as you say, that game is well and truly gone. 15 points clear at the top of the league with a chance to go 18 points clear on Saturday. Thanks for reading them out, by the way, John. Appreciate that. Thanks for everybody that's commented as well. Keep the comments coming in because we'll always try and read as many out as we possibly can. Thank you for viewing, everybody, and viewing the wee short videos that we put on. It is appreciated. It is helping the channel out. So hit that like button, hit that share button, and the subscribe. That's the main one. Hit the subscribe button. Subscriptions are going up as well nicely. Thank you very much, everybody that's subscribed already. Right, John, I'll be final sum up for you, buddy, and we'll call it a day.
Get the 3 points in the bag. That's all I can say. Get the 3 points in the bag, put them under pressure, and come St Johnstone game, I think you'll find will be 17 points clear. No 18, will be 17 clear. Well, 17. If we win against Ross County, we go 18 clear. Rangers will draw Ibrox after that, if that's the case. And I think you'll definitely go 17 clear by that time. So keep an eye on that, Xander. Yeah,
we'll keep an eye on it. Not long to go, folks, for the big game wrap-up. Warm, if you're going up to Dingwall, it's going to be freezing up there. Right, John, thanks for coming on, buddy. We'll catch you on the post-match. We'll see what happens over this weekend. It's good times. Good times are here again, folks. Brilliant to be a Celtic supporter just now. We're rampaging, towards 55 league titles. Absolutely brilliant, John. We'll catch you on the post-match. Thanks for coming on, buddy. Hail, hail.
Hail, hail, mate. Speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon, John. Cheers.